Air Canada, the nation's largest airline, is the backbone of Canadian travel, moving millions of people every year across vast distances and diverse landscapes. It connects remote communities to major cities and links Canada to the world, making it an essential part of daily life and the country's economy. But now, a massive strike by 10,000 cabin crew members has grounded its fleet, halting travel at the height of summer, one of the busiest travel seasons of the year. The strike, led by the Canadian Union of Public Employees, marks a total breakdown in talks between management and frontline staff, after months of tense negotiations and failed attempts at compromise. This isn't a minor disruption, it's a shutdown that's thrown hundreds of thousands of travel plans into chaos, leaving airports packed with confused and anxious travelers. Families hoping for long-awaited vacations, students heading to new opportunities, and business travelers with urgent meetings are all stranded, facing cancellations and uncertainty about when they'll be able to move again. The conflict has escalated from negotiation tables to picket lines and legal battles, drawing national attention and sparking heated debate about workers' rights and corporate responsibility. The empty gates and silent aircraft are a stark symbol of how vital human labor is to keeping airlines running, and how quickly everything can grind to a halt without it. When cabin crew stop, the entire system collapses, revealing the fragile balance behind every successful flight. At the heart of the issue are deep disagreements over fair pay, working conditions, and respect for the essential work cabin crews do. Issues that now demand urgent attention from both the airline and the nation. The strike centers on pay and working conditions. The union demands wage hikes that match inflation and compensation for all hours worked, including time spent on the ground during boarding. Currently, flight attendants aren't paid until the plane moves, leaving crucial pre-flight work unpaid. Air Canada's management claims it offered a 40% wage increase, calling the union's demands unsustainable. The union argues it's a fight for fairness and respect, especially after years of stagnant wages and sacrifices during tough times. Management insists on protecting the airline's financial health and competitiveness. With both sides far apart, a resolution seems distant. The immediate victims are travelers. Over 130,000 people a day left scrambling as flights are canceled, their plans thrown into chaos with little warning or time to react. Airports have become scenes of confusion and frustration, with families separated, children growing restless, and business trips abandoned at the last minute. The strike has forced travelers to seek expensive alternatives, from last-minute train tickets to costly hotel stays, as they desperately try to reach their destinations. Meanwhile, Air Canada faces mounting financial losses, with planes grounded and operations at a standstill. The airline has suspended profit forecasts, as uncertainty clouds its future, and executives scramble to contain the fallout. Investors are watching nervously, and Air Canada's stock price has dropped sharply, reflecting shaken confidence in the company. Each day of the strike means lost revenue, mounting refunds, and escalating costs for the airline as customer service teams struggle to keep up with demand. The disruption ripples through the Canadian economy, affecting not just tourism, but also supply chains, local hotels, and small businesses that depend on steady travel. International events and conferences are also hit, with delegates stranded and schedules thrown off, damaging Canada's reputation as a reliable host. Customer loyalty is at risk as frustration grows and passengers begin to question their future with Air Canada. Prolonged chaos is driving passengers to other airlines, with competitors seeing a surge in bookings from former Air Canada customers. The public relations battle is fierce, with stories of stranded travelers dominating headlines and social media, fueling public anger and sympathy. At the same time, calls for fair pay and better working conditions are shaping public opinion, adding another layer to the crisis. Rebuilding trust and restoring Air Canada's reputation will be a challenge that lasts long after the strike ends, as the airline works to win back both customers and confidence. With the strike paralyzing travel, the Canadian government stepped in. Prime Minister Mark Carney voiced support for fair pay, but stressed the need for a quick resolution. The government asked the Canada Industrial Relations Board to order binding arbitration, but the union refused. When the board declared the strike illegal, the union defied the order, escalating the standoff. The government now faces tough choices: enforce the order through courts or recall Parliament to pass back-to-work legislation. Both risky moves. The stakes are high, as forced action could damage labor relations and set a national precedent. Air Canada's strike is part of a larger wave of labor activism that's sweeping through North American aviation. Workers are standing together, demanding better treatment and fairer compensation, and their voices are growing louder with each passing day. Flight attendants across the continent are demanding pay for all hours worked, including the crucial time spent boarding passengers, work that is long gone uncompensated. They argue that every minute on the job, from greeting travelers to ensuring safety, deserves recognition and fair pay. Recent deals at American and Alaska Airlines now pay flight attendants for boarding, setting a powerful precedent for the industry. These agreements have energized workers elsewhere, showing that change is possible when employees unite and persist. Unions at United and other major carriers are pushing for similar gains, determined not to be left behind. The momentum is building, and workers are more organized and vocal than ever before. After years on the front lines, especially during the pandemic, and now seeing airlines return to profit, workers believe it's time they receive their fair share. They want acknowledgement for their dedication and sacrifices. The outcome in Canada could inspire or temper labor movements across the industry, influencing negotiations and strategies for years to come. All eyes are on what happens next. A union victory would fuel momentum for change, encouraging more workers to stand up. A defeat could slow the movement, but it won't end the fight. One thing is clear: the fight for fair pay and respect in the skies is far from over. As workers continue to organize and demand justice, the industry faces a pivotal moment that could reshape the future of aviation labor.